Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me on the Sisters Trust. How's it going? Well, today we're going to be working on a chuck roast. So what I did, I like to, so it don't take so much time, is have some things prepared. So I'm just going to show you on this part of all the items that I'm going to use. So I'm going to add like potatoes, a little bit of butter when I make my gravy. I already have my chopped up veggies, which is bell peppers, which is red and green, and I have some onions. Of course, I have my chuck roast. I'm going to be using a little bit of Worcestershire sauce and things like that. So that way, you know, and as we do the video, I'll kind of like go in there and show you guys what we're using. So I already preheated my oven, because what I want to do is I'm going to cook this in my Dutch oven pan, which is this. These are pretty heavy. So I'm going to cook it in here. And so once I get everything, you know, toss it and fry it a little bit on the stove, I'm going to put it inside my Dutch oven and pour everything on top. And we're going to make sure we use some broth, which is a good part of it, because it's going to help seal the juices and everything and make everything taste really good. All right, so part one, what I want to do was to show you, I'm just going to use a little bit of my Worcestershire sauce. So let's get to work and let's talk it. I want it to really, really soak in. Now, of course, my hands are clean. Now, if I was in a restaurant, you know, you have on your little gloves and everything. And except if you want to put gloves, you know, because sometimes people have long fingernails and stuff like that. And so you want to, you know, work this all into your meat. And it's good too for you single dads or you single men to be able to make your own meal, right? I always like to have stuff to wipe my hands with. Okay, so I'm gonna use a little bit of salt. I kind of like to go from top to bottom. I'm gonna use some ground paprika. I'm gonna use a little bit of bay leaves. It just gives that little extra, I don't know, Italian to it. And really, you could come up with whatever seasonings and things you like. I like things that have a little bit of spice. And sometimes when I use like those pepper flakes, it has no rhyme or reason. It's just I want them on my stuff. Now, I'm going to use some black pepper. I wanted to use some garlic powder, but I ran out. So that's why it's good to make your list before you get started with stuff. And I'm going to use, I had my daughter to pick me up some extra. I'm going to try this special seasoning. It's called Complete Seasoning. All right. Now, some people get like, you know how you get the little thyme, T-H-Y-M-E, and you could tie it together, and so you could take it out, but I'm not worried about that. I want the little flakes in it. It kind of gives that little kick to it. And I'm gonna repeat. Well, first of all, let's put my pepper thing. That don't mean nothing, but it means something to me because I like to have a little bit of heat in my stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna mash reason I'm mashing in too, because I'm going to use flour. And I'm going to be able to fry this on the stove with the flour, just like if you was frying a piece of meat, to get it brown a little bit before I actually put it in my pot. So now I'm just going to flip that over and repeat the process. That's real good, and it's not even in the oven. A little bit of my cake. So as I was sitting here, I thought about, you know what? It's gonna be so messy. I already got the pan. Why don't I do the flour in this pan? And then I'm gonna go over there and put my Dutch oven in the oven, let it start getting hot. Let me get something. Hold on 1 second. I don't like mixing things with my items. Hold on. So I went and grabbed 2 like little measuring cups. Nothing for measure, but just so I don't dip into my flour twice with the meat. So I'm just going to get some of my flour. And I might not even have to, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and just spread across my meat. Just like you would flour any other thing, right? Making a good coating for it. Because I want to seal in my ingredients that I seasoned, and making sure that, you know, everything is seasoned good. And also, this is going to help with making some of the gravy that I want to have, or what they call the roux that I want to use. Okay, I'm going to flip that over. So my plan is, I didn't pre-cut the potatoes, but I did wash them. I like to keep my skin on my potatoes. That way, that's just what I like. Just like almost like eating a baked potato. But I don't know. I like this when I cook it. I like the skin on my potatoes, and it makes it easier too for your meal and everything. So I'm just kind of like making sure all the areas is nice and cooked. And I'm shooting powder all over me. I guess that's why you have an apron, but your girl didn't think about putting no apron on, but that's okay. So this is cool too, because y'all know we're working on protein and everything. And I must say myself, my face with the workouts and everything is looking mighty skinny on this picture. So I'm excited about this. Okay, so All right, so we already battered our chuck roast. All right, so we're gonna move to the next step, which I am the film crew, so I have to move and set us up for the next step. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so now it is time to put the chuck roast into the pan so it can get ready to cook. I already have my Dutch oven in the oven already heating, and so now I've been melting my butter for the chuck roast. So my goal is to let it get golden brown on both sides. So while that's working out, I'm gonna go ahead and be cutting up some of the potatoes a little bit. And so as you see, we still have some flour inside of this. So this will be good for our gravy, or what they call the roux. As you know, I had already have my cut up veggies and everything. So right now we're going to focus on getting the chuck roast browned and cutting the potatoes, which, you know, I have here. And like I said, I like to keep my skins on my potatoes. And so my chuck roast is over there frying. I melted like some butter just to give it a little bit more extra flavor, right? So it is working. It smells good already. It's not even in the oven. And so when I put it in the oven, I'm gonna let it cook like 2.5 hours. That's my goal so far on 350. So those of us who are watching our diets, a half a potato and a piece of meat is really good, and it's filling. I noticed when I wasn't feeling well, I was missing some carbs and everything, but I've been working it out. Is that all the potatoes? Let's see. Oh, here go another one. Alright, so we'll move that out the way for a second.
Smells like it.
So as you see, this is getting kind of brown. on this side. I'm going to bring you closer because then you can see how good the coating is for the flour. You see that? Now y'all know I'm the camera crew and I don't want to be dropping my phone into the flames because who's going to be buying a new phone? I'm kind of thinking about how big this is. Is it going to fit in my little roast? Now, if you have another big roaster pan, which I do have a bigger roaster, I might do audible. But so far, I was planning to put it in my Dutch oven because I want to really see how it cooks in my Dutch oven. Alright, let that cook a little bit. Put my potatoes out the way. Work on my gravy a little bit, my flour for my gravy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pre-season my flour for my gravy with a few of the seasons that I used before. Just a little bit of salt, some pepper, some paprika, a little bit. I want to use some of my thyme. Or if I didn't show y'all, this is what the kind I'm using. Just to give it that kick. Alright, so we're going to get ready to work on our dressing. Or should I say our gravy. That is mighty hot. Alright. Okay, so like I said, I preheated my Dutch oven, and this is how it looks in there. You see how nice and brown everything is? So now it's going to leave my pan open so that I can make my gravy. So now what I want to do, because I want to go ahead and let my, while I do my gravy, I want to go ahead and let my roast still be cooking. So I'm going to get my beef broth. need about half of the actual beef, you know, from the bottom to half. And then I want to add like some 1 pack of the Lipton soup. And I put the kind that had the mushroom because I didn't cut up any mushrooms to put in it this time. I'm just going to put in 1 pack. Well, actually, I'm going to put a half a pack. This is how it should look. Okay, and I'm going to put it right back into the oven. Okay, so since I done put half of my liquid in, I want to go ahead and just place my potatoes. And just a little bit of my veggies. And I'm going to season my thing just a little bit with salt for my potato. Just a little. And like I said, just a few of the veggies. Like this. Alrighty. Time for the next step. Put it back in the oven. Right, so now let's get started on this gravy. All right, so what I'm going to do is use a little bit of vegetable oil this time, just a little. You can use vegetable oil, you can use olive oil, you can use butter, whatever you think that's good for you, okay, in your health journey. Okay, so I want to cook down a little bit of my veggies. I just want to soften them down because they're going to be cooking for at least 2 hours in the oven. So I'm not trying to make them completely tender. I'm going to use the rest of my soup mix. trying to get us a little closer so we can see what we're doing over here. So y'all see how this is getting nice and brown. You had a little bit of the roasters in here, so you had a little bit of flour. And now I did a little bit of vegetable oil and everything. So now I'm going to add my flour. So my goal is to get it kind of brown a little bit. That looks so good. So I'm going to let that cook a little bit, and as it thickens, it's going to be added on top of my beef. Cut my fire up just a little bit to get it going. But look how nice and brown that is. So, I don't know if you notice, you can see where it's starting to thicken up. And get it back some because I don't want it to kill my phone, just in case. Look how thick that's getting. So you decide how much coverage you want for your meat and everything. Remember, I put a little bit of broth in there, half of the meat, and so I'm gonna, like I said, put this on top. I'm gonna put some more in this in one more time. Let it cook again to the thickness. Then I'm gonna get a spoon and taste it and see if it has some seasoning that I like. So that liquid loosen up the gravy again. So now I'm gonna let it cook down to get like a little thickness to it. And the next time that I put the liquid in, it's just gonna be enough so that it can go into the pot. It's looking so good. So remember, I preheated the oven at 350. I put the pan in and let it already was getting very hot. Remember your gloves. And then for the veggies, I did green and red bell pepper and onions. I would have did mushrooms, but I did not. So I used the lip soup that has the mushrooms in it. And then the rest of the seasonings. So I'll try to, if I'm able to, go on the videos and put the words. We'll see what happens. Since I'm trying to be creative. But let's get back to the meal. Look how nice and thick that is getting. Let me get a spoon, see. Let's see. Let me see. I say so myself. Be freaking good. All right. So let's get my oven back. All right. Show you guys how it look before I put it back in the oven. I'm gonna put a little bit more liquid in there. You can even see it bubbling on that right hand side. Okay, so I just want to put a little bit of liquid and I'm gonna check it in about 2 hours and see what happens. Just a little bit because it's gonna bubble up on its own. I just want to move my potatoes around in here to make sure everything got its own little area. Okay. Put my lid on. So I say the liquid is about half of the pot. And I'm going to keep my eye on it because I don't know how it's going to rise up. And I don't want my oven to be something to clean. Okay guys, I'm going to check it in 2 hours. So now it's time for me to spruce my area back up. And we will be back and see what the end results would be for this chuck roast. Okay guys, I want to show you, this has been cooking about an hour and about 10 minutes. And look at it so far. I mean, the potato is already very tender. And I can really push all the way down through the meat. You know, the goal is like to let it cook for 2 hours. But I don't know, it might be done before then. But I just want to show y'all how good it looks. And look at the veggies. Nice that you'll be able to put it in. While I was cooking for my family, I made some rice. So you can just put this all over the rice and just look at the gravy part. Let's see. That. It's about an hour and I think 10 minutes. Because I didn't know how to set my stove for the 2 hours. So I put 90 minutes on there, which is what, an hour and a half. And then I'm going to put another 30 minutes. All right. That's where I want to show you what's going on. Look how good that looks. It looks so good.